Hey, what's up guys? This is for you newbies. Just a quick tech tip on excuse me, I'm out of breath. I just got done pushing that thing wheelbarrow compressor over here. Winterizing your system. So it's getting below freezing tonight. I don't like wasting money on antifreeze, coolant, and all that good junk, so I use compressed air. What I've got is a spot right here in front of my pump for compressed air. My fitting's about old as Methuselah. So what I do is I put that there. The ball valve is closed, so no air can get into the system. What I like to do is, so that tank's closed, I'm not using it. This tank is now closed. It's actually full of water. I'm gonna drain that once I get done with all this. But the idea is you're blowing air through that fitting. It's going into the pump. It's going back towards this tank also. But since these valves are closed, air is going to go to the path of least resistance, which so happens to go through the pump, up this way through the, I know it's a K7 valve. I just had a brain fart. The unloader. And then it comes up here through the coils, through the burner, blah, 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 and then out this hose. And then it's going to come out the end because the end of this is open. So that way, actually all the water is out of my hose also. Typically, if I'm at a job or something, I don't do this there, and I'll go ahead and unhook my hoses from the machine and wrap them up on my hose reel. I used to have them all plumbed up to where I didn't have to unhook anything from the machine, but this stuff eventually went bad and I just didn't like to mess with fixing it. So I actually just pull out 50-foot sections at a time, you know, whatever I'm using, 50 foot, 100 foot, 150, 200, 300, 400 foot of hose, whatever. And then just hook it straight up to the machine. Or if I'm downstreaming, like washing a house, I hook it up back here and yada yada. And then you got your hoses and it goes into your soap tank or whatever else you're using. So anyways, getting off topic here. Let me start up the compressor real quick and yeah, I'll show you from there. All right, so that actually didn't take near as long as I was thinking it was going to. 4 good pulls and it fired up. Of course, it's only 41, 42 degrees out here right now, so it's not terribly cold. A little above freezing, but yeah, we're going to let it build up. We're gonna let it build up with air for just a second, and then go ahead and open that valve so it's compressing the lines, and there we go. You will know when it's out. And then what I usually do is I'll let it just sit here and run for a hot minute, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes maybe. Make sure a lot of the residual water is out, and you're good to go. It's getting close. There it goes. So that right there is pretty much fine water like mist. So it's pretty well done, but I like to let it run for a little while. You'll see the longer it runs, the more air it pushes through it, the more water it gets out. So even though the bulk of the water is out of the lines, if you don't let it run long enough, I suppose there's still a potential in your coils and such that the water could settle in the bottom and freeze. And I guess there's still a potential it could freeze and bust. But I mean, if you let it sit for, like, what has it been now? Not even a minute. I mean, it's pretty much mist. So my hose, I think, is good. So what I'm gonna do here is I'll usually turn that off, let all the compressed air, you know, relieve itself. If I try to undo this when it's compressed, it probably won't be a pretty story. But so what I'll do is try to get this thing unhooked now. My fittings are just a wee bit old. There we go. Very nice. And open it up and let it finish up. So see, there's still a little bit of water coming out of the bottom. Not a ton, but a little bit. I mean, that's pretty much all it is water. So yeah, I'll just let that run for a minute and then we're calling it good. I will tell you though, what I also do at the end is, like, so there's water in both of these lines right now. So what I'll do is open this up for a split second. It just blew all the water out of, I guess it'd be just this little bit of line. And then I'll go do the same thing over there and it will blow the water out of the rest of the line. And then, I'll just let it run for a minute. Watch this. There you go. So now there is no water in these lines right here. And of course, even if there is, when it's all said and done, I'm gonna unhook these banjo fittings. So there you go. And then whenever I'm done, I'll take this this filter lens off to just make sure there's no water sitting in that. I usually take the filter and stuff out, and I'll just throw it in my toolbox here. So look, there you go. I mean, it's hardly nothing at all. So simple as that. We'll shut this off. It's done. We're done. My fittings messed up. And then I will drain the air out of that. And we're good. Go ahead and open that valve. Take this mess off. There's a little bit of water in that tank, not a ton. I think this other one, I left my hose running into it for a little bit longer than I wanted. You can see we're about to pour out a solid 250 gallons of water, but oh well, it'll be all right. See, there's no water in the lines at all. So, there we go. Flood our driveway. It's fixing to get pretty cold tomorrow and snow anyway, so I think they're calling for like 3 to 8 inches of snow. It's pretty big, you know, difference there. But then of course, you know, it's freezing. We're unhooking the hydrants. You don't want those things to freeze up. I put it in once. I really don't want to redo it again. Then we just pull the hose over. I'm not too worried about the hose. There you go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But even more than enjoying it, I just hope you learned something. There for like the first, for sure the first winter that I washed, I carried around a ton of bottles of, maybe it was RV antifreeze, and like literally a 5-gallon bucket of just an empty 5-gallon bucket. And what I would do is I actually had this thing plumbed up to where I had another hose coming off of this. Of course, it's totally changed. These tanks wasn't on here. There was like a big bulk tank. I don't know if you can see it back there, but like a 225-gallon tank. Wasn't nothing near this big. But I had like another hose coming off of that. And then it stepped up into like a 4-inch, it was just like a banjo fitting. What I would do is I would like pour the RV antifreeze in the hose, and it was probably a, you know, a 2 or 3 foot tall hose. So I'd fill the hose up with that antifreeze, and then I'd run around there, fire my pressure washer up real quick, let it suck all that out, run it through the system, do that 2 or 3 times, and then call it quits. Plug everything up and leave it. That stuff's like a couple bucks a gallon. Not terrible, but that's money, dog. That compressor right there was $100 at a yard sale, and it has saved me well over that in RV antifreeze. It's a little hard to start sometimes, but Old Faithful here, she's been great. So the air's free. I mean, the gas you pay for. I haven't filled that thing up, and I couldn't tell you when. I mean, I use that thing all around the house, airing up tires, whatever else. I actually originally got it because I had a roof washing system, an air diaphragm pump on here and stuff a couple years ago. So, long time ago. But yeah, I mean, it's just another way to do it. Whatever way works for you. That way works excellent for me, so that's the way I do it. I've been doing it for about 3 years now. Never had a problem, especially because my washer's outside. So say if you're washing like fleet trucks and stuff in the dead ass of winter when it's snowing and ice and stuff outside, you can go to your job and your machine's gonna work because it's not froze up. When you're done, you can blow it out there. You can just load that thing up the bed end of your truck, blow it out there on site, and you don't have to worry about your stuff freezing up before you get home. That's another big thing. So it is what it is. You can try it if you want. If you don't, no harm, no foul. I just figured I would let you know that. It took me a minute to figure it out, and I actually think I can't remember who actually I found that out through, like, you know, even using compressed air, but I actually use it a lot on the farm now also. You know, blowing out the sprayers and stuff like that. Anything that we, you know, put liquid in, it usually gets blowed out. So there you go.